you can see the name of the deck. Dinos are back. So this is it. This is the return of our Dino combo Dinomorophia list. We haven't uploaded a video on this since fucking forever. Purely because during the cash format, this deck wasn't really that great, right? It was a little bit tough to get going under the banishment constantly happening. And while cash data is still around, it's definitely not as omnipresent as it was. And because of that, the Dinos are out to play. So I've got a few replays lined up, just showcasing some of the big combos, some of the end boards, some of the situations, just so I can talk about the deck. Again, the combos are super quick. The deck, the gameplay is all super quick. Again, I'm also showing off some of the weaknesses, of course, right? Dinos are a phenomenal deck, but they are not without weakness. But yeah, I absolutely love this list. If you want to play Dinos and you want to play at any level of consistency, at any level of competitiveness, I feel like you need to be playing a list kind of like this. I'm not saying this is maybe card for card perfect, but what I'm saying is if you try doing the sort of scrap nonsense that everyone's trying to do, or the sort of bestial stuff that everyone's been doing recently, there's a lot of problems with that strategy. There's a lot of bricks, there's a lot of cards that you don't want to be seeing in your opening hand. And the big thing about Dinos is that you want every card in your opening hand to be as impactful as possible, because there's so many impactful cards in Dinos. I feel like trying to stuff the deck full of things that it doesn't need to have is just going to lead to more games where you don't do anything, right? Whereas with a deck like this, because we're playing like the Dinomorophia engine and we've got some really clean sort of lines and combos going on here, there is seldom a duel where you're not able to do anything, right? At the very least, even if you get put under max C, if you get put in these sort of rough positions, you're normally at the very least able to go into the Dinomorphia combo, which wins games by itself, which is fucking insane, right? So the idea behind the deck is you're trying to set up additional negates or protections for your Dinomorphia combo. So you're trying to go into Ultimate Conductor Tyranno for that extra, like, sort of big negate, the big sort of flip everything down. Especially good against a deck like Mathmech. You know, they go circular and then Sigma, bang, flip them down, no plays, right? You're done, finished. So Conductor's fucking sick for that exact purpose. We got Dolka. Dolka is the fucking MVP of this deck. Dolka is like the single best card. For fucking sure. This card is nuts. Having the multiple not once per turn monster negate is insane, and you're gonna see that in a game where we play directly into Maxi. This card is the fucking goat, and as part of why this whole deck works is because you're able to put out these cards that's going to protect the resolution of your Dinomorphia plays. You're going to have these huge boss monsters that are going to push for lethal on turn 3, and it just really is great. So if you're interested in this deck, of course, I'm going to go through the deck card for card at the end for anyone who isn't familiar with Dinos. You're going to see most of the basic combos in the gameplay. Most of the deck works on like a 2-card combo basis, where it doesn't really matter almost like what 2 cards you get. The combo most of the time just sort of resolves the same way. So I have a couple of instances of the combo being resolved, playing in for interruption, and yeah, we're just gonna have a look and see how it works. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more content every single day, of course. We upload as consistently as we possibly can, so if you want to see anything more, especially on Dinos, make sure you subscribe, because I definitely want to play around with this deck even more. I didn't even get playing too many games of it before making this video, because it was just so good and the replays were just so good that I had to get this video out as soon as I possibly could. So again, I had an absolute blast playing it, even though the replays are going to be fairly simple. They're going to show off what you need to know to play Dinos. So I'm not going to take up any more time here at the beginning of the video. Let's just dive right in. I've always known Dolka is a great card. This is the duel that convinced me that it's the best card in this deck. They're going to go Lingeripo here. Looks like we're playing against Mathmech. We're just going to Ash that Defensor, and that should shut our opponent down unless they have something like Circular or something like that in hand. And luckily for us, they didn't, right? So set 1, pass. Not exactly an intimidating board from our opponent, but just look at this fucking hand, man. This hand is nuts, and you see hands like this all the time. And you want to know why you see hands like this all the time? Because this deck works in a way that enables as many different 2-card combinations as possible, right? You can see Ovi, Lost World, Fossil Dig, Lost World, Ovi, Misk, Baby, Misk. Like, there's so many different combinations of like 2 cards, right? That it usually doesn't really matter what 2 cards. You're going to look at your hand and you're going to think, damn, that hand's fucking sick. This one is especially good, right? And it's not going to be as plain sailing as maybe you at first think, because we're going to go for Miscellaneousaurus here, activating Fossil Dig, of course, searching for the Royal Rare Over Raptor. There's no way we can't flex the fucking drip on this man. We're going to go Lost World, being met with Maxi. What do we do in the face of Maxi? Now, what we could do is we could simply stop playing the game like some sort of beta cuck, or what we could do is we could commit and fucking send it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to fucking send it. We're going to go Pancratops here because our opponent has more monsters than we do. After I gave him that token, we're going to use Over Raptor to attempt to pop the token. Because we have a Dino in grave, we can attempt to pop the token, protecting it with Lost World to pop a Dino in deck instead. You pop the baby. What does the baby do? When it's destroyed and sent to the grave, it summons a level 4 or lower dinosaur. We're going to summon another baby. Why another baby? Because we're going to, well, first of all, we're going to Pank, wipe out that back row because fuck the back row. Now we're going to go Misk, banishing one, summoning the Archosaur. Now Archosaur can pop our newly summoned baby to grab ourselves a double evolution pill. Now that baby will summon Dinomorophia Pharesia, setting Frenzy directly from deck to field. Now we're going to Exceed Summon into Dulka. Now we need a Dulka as soon as possible. Why do we need Dulka as soon as possible? Because of the rock. We're going to summon Secure Gardener, and our opponent's going to go for Nibiru the Primal Being. I don't fucking think so, buddy. Using the Dulka, we're going to hit that Nibiru where it fucking hurts. Negated and destroyed. Getting rid of that card entirely, and we're not once per turn, meaning when I go for double evolution pill and you attempt to go for Ash Blossom, we still don't care. We're still just gonna negate you and keep on playing as if you don't exist. And that is why Dulka is the fucking GOAT. Double negates, double sort of preventing our board from being shut down. We're gonna go Ultimate Conductor, and then the sequel to the Ultimate Conductor, a second Tyranno into the battle phase, swinging into the Linguribo, swinging into the token because we can attack all monsters our opponent controls, 35 to the face, and the finishing blow from the GOAT himself, from the Dulka, for a game. So there you go. That's why Dulka is the best card in this deck. It is. I hate to break it to you. You thought it was Rexter? You thought it was the Ultimate Conductor? No, it's Dulka. It just is. So that's... Dulka existing means that you have a whole plethora of options for getting around Nibiru, or getting around Maxi, or getting around these interruptions, because the thing that Dino does, and always has done and always will do, is that it wins games, right? If you're going second, your objective isn't to like set up as many negates as you can to maybe win in turn 4. It's not trying to dance around your opponent's board. No, you're just trying to fucking smash them, right? And you're trying to smash them with your Ultimate Conductor, with your fucking, with your Dogoran, with your Pancratops. You're trying to just break them down, and you're using your Dinomorphia as fallback. Now, what is stopping your opponent from stopping you from breaking them down? Nibiru, Ash Blossom, all of these fucked up cards that are really fucking annoying. Dulka fixes that. I don't know, I just love it. I'm just in love with this card right now. I'm in love with this whole deck right now. I'm not gonna lie. Let's get in the game too. Alrighty, getting into game 2 here. Again, pretty good hand. Like I said, basically any 2-card combination. We again luckily had the Fossil Dig, but whatever. But again, this could be virtually fucking anything. We're gonna go into the Over Raptor once again. One of the benefits of Lost World is that it actually chain blocks the Over Raptor. This time we're going first, right? So this time we're gonna be showcasing a different side of the deck. First game was going second, OTK crushing. This time we're going first. We're trying to set up a board, right? So we're going to go for, of course, the Lost World, summoning a token. Where you summon the token, there are like strategic places where you can put it. You can put it underneath an extra monster zone if you want to block a potential Mathmech player for going for like a Transco player, whatever the fuck. We summoned it here this time because the specific reason was lost on me at the time, but it actually worked out fantastically because our opponent is playing Valence, which this being here stops them from doing Valence plays. So the combo remains the same going forward. First, the only difference is we're setting up something entirely new. So instead of going overboard here, what we could have done, if we really, really wanted to, we could have, again, just like last game, used the baby to summon the baby, use the Misk to summon the Archosaur to pop the baby, to go into, like, right, we could have just did a bunch of things. From my perspective, based off the hand that we were in, and again, I sort of initially missed the play, but even then, even in hindsight, looking at this, it's good that we didn't do all of that, because now we still have the Misk in the graveyard for a crazy amount of follow-up if we need it. We still have Ultimate Conductor in hand. There's a lot of things going on. Well, I mean, we banished the Misk, but we're not really missing anything from this end board. It's the exact fucking same, right? And the big point of this is we have the Dolka for the double protect, we have the ultimate conductor to floodgate the field if needed, and we have the most important cards at all, the Dinomorophia Frenzy. Now we're gonna go Max C here. Max C, hopefully going to be an Ash Blossom or something like that. Looks like our opponent isn't playing it, which is good. Or if they are playing it, they don't care about Max C, which I fucking doubt. Press X to doubt. They're going to get rid of our Conductor. That's fine. Playing a card face down. We're going to pay 4,000 life points. Fusion summoning into Dinomorphia Kentragina. Now we're going to use Kentragina's effect. We're going to fusion summon into Rexter, and that completely prevents our opponent from playing any monsters with 2,000 or less attack points. They're going to go for Valence Awakening, going for the Valence here. They can't activate any of their effects. They're going to summon their monster out to the field. It's going to sit there looking like a fucking stupid idiot. And then they're simply going to have to pass because the Rexterm is too strong. And Dolka is there protecting our cards from their interruptions, right? We're protecting it from Ash Blossom. We're protecting from whatever it is they decide they want to use. It's just really good. It's just good. Like, what do you want me to say? Again, this replay might have looked very, very similar to the last one. That's the goal. That is the idea. You want to be trying to put up a pretty consistent board. You want to be consistently playing your Dinomorphia cards, consistently playing your Dolka. Dolka is the way, for sure. Logia is another really good card. I don't think Logia is nearly as applicable right now. If you can maybe find room for a second level rank 4, by all means, you won't, but you can try, but you won't. But if you're a fucking mad lad and you have the Hand of the Gods, then sure, you could also go Logia, but Dolka is definitely the priority. Because it stops Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is so annoying in this deck, where it completely shuts down. In fact, you know what? Put a pin in that one. Let's get into game number 3. I hope you remembered what we were talking about in that last replay, because this time we're going to go for the Over Raptor. We're going to grab Miscellaneousaurus directly from our deck to our hand. We're going to use its effect, sending itself to grave. Again, beautiful one-card combo here, starting off, but unfortunately, there it is. That is the Ash Blossom, the Blossom of Ash, unfortunately shutting down the Miscellaneousaurus. He would not have been able to use it on anything on our board. But you know what? It's fine. We got Dinomorphia Brute. We got Frenzy. We're gold. We got Ash Blossom. We're sick, right? They're going to go for Fenrir. We're going to go for Frenzy. What is that? Is that another Ash Blossom? What the fuck? So, unfortunately, one of the deck's biggest counters is just double Ash Blossom, apparently. They're able to use their Fenrir. They're going to grab a card from their deck here. I'm going to speed this up. We go Theosis. We're going to Ash that Theosis so they don't get to summon anything. But yeah, they summon the Rise Heart, normal summon Maxi, and that's game, right? 24, 15, 500. Ash Blossom is Dino's biggest enemy. Maxi, we can play through Maxi, right? I'll play through Maxi every fucking day of the week. We'll play through fucking Imperns. We'll play through all of that shit. It's just that Ash Blossom can hit the combo in places where it doesn't protect itself. So the whole idea of Dinos is that it inherently protects itself. It insulates itself from negation through things like Miscellaneousaurus, through Dolka, through Logia. But Ash is the one card that can sort of sneak into the crevices, like at the Misk Banish, right? For example, or at the Double Pill Evolution, right? It can hit you in those places that are most annoying, that aren't protected by your combo, unless you're able to put up a Dolka first. On this occasion, we weren't. I really just, I needed to show off at least one replay where it doesn't go according to plan. Because I don't want to try and trick anybody into building this deck because it's expensive, and then them thinking it's going to be tier 0 unstoppable threat, because it's not. It's really fucking good. Don't get me wrong. Very good deck, and I'm loving it right now. I'm going to continue to play it. But let's not kid ourselves into thinking it doesn't have any counters. Let's not do that. But either way, let's get into the actual deck profile for anyone who maybe isn't all that familiar with Dinos. Alright, so here we are. This deck is not cheap. It isn't. I'm not going to kid you here. There's a lot of URs going around. The triple OV, the triple Theresia, we got the Tyrannos, we got the extra deck. There's a lot of URs going on here. So this is not a deck that you're going to be able to build overnight, but if you happen to have the cards, or if you're just committed to building Dinos in the best way possible, then this is going to be the list. So let's go through the actual list itself. Let's talk about some of the plays. So ideally, what you want to be seeing is one of your plethora of 2-card combos. I don't have a list of exactly what they are, but there's so fucking many of them that you'll seldom see a hand where you don't have combo. Ignore that, by the way. Just Thanos must have fucking snapped somewhere. It's fine. So your combo is generally just an example of a few of them. Misk and Baby. Ovi, Baby. Ovi and Lost World. Misk and... there's so many, like Misk and the Petit Pteranodon, of course. And then you've got Fossil Dig, which sort of subs in a lot of places. You got Archosaur and a Baby is another combo. There's a lot of like different two-card combos you can have. Basically, your objective is if you're able to pop a Baby... Damn, I'm really fizzing out of existence, huh? If you're able to pop a Baby, then you're generally able to get your combo going, right? And that is the objective. Your two-card combos are any combination of cards that will allow you to pop a Baby Ceratosaurus. That is your objective. That is it. Miscellaneousaurus helps protect your combos as well, but you just want any combination of cards that helps you pop a Baby. And even secondary to that, there's a number of other cards in the deck that now facilitate turn 1 plays that don't rely upon those combos, right? So those are your traditional Dino lines. You've also now got your 3 1-card Pharesias. Setting up Frenzy. You've got 3 combos of Frenzy, which is a 1-card combo. 1 copy of Domain, 1-card combo. So there's 7 1-card combos added into your deck, on top of your plethora of 2-card combos that allow you to get into Dulka and the Ultimate Conductor. Are there decks out there with higher ceilings and crazier combos and crazier replays? Absolutely. But you know what those decks also do? They open up Corridor. They open up Destiny Hero Dasher. They open up Fusion Destiny. They open up all of these cards that you don't want to see in your hand, man. You just don't want to see them. And this deck doesn't play them. We're not playing Scrap Chimera. We're not playing Scrap Golem to brick on them. We're not playing the Nemesis fucking Keystone to brick on it. We're not doing that. There's a lot of Dino decks out there that have a pretty high ceiling, but what a lot of them lack is that consistent sort of backbone of Dinos. And that's what we're trying to emphasize with this build in particular. We're trying to keep it simple, keep it smooth, keep it sleek, and keep it functioning, which is the priority. So let's go through the actual list itself. Starting off with the double Archosaur. You could play this at 1. You want to special summon this card from your deck off of your Miscellaneousaurus. You could technically play it at 1, but if you open it, it's not the greatest feeling in the world, so you probably want to play 2 of it. This card on summon allows you to destroy a Dino on your field or hand to grab a double evolution pill from your deck. Pretty straightforward. Baby Ceratosaurus and Petit Pteranodon, I'm going to lump into one group here. Basically, when either of these cards are destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you get to summon another Dino. Baby Ceratosaurus is 4 or lower, Petit Pteranodon is 4 or higher. That's simple. Giant Rex, when banished, will summon itself back from the banish pile. Miscellaneousaurus is definitely one of the MVPs of the deck. This card actually limited to 1 in the TCG, maybe even banned, I don't know. Miscellaneousaurus is fucking bonkers though. Basically, during the main phase, either player's main phase, you can discard this card to make your dinosaurs on field unaffected by your opponent's activated effects for the duration of the turn. So Miscellaneousaurus is nuts, not only for that effect, but for its second effect, which allows you to banish it and any number of other dinos from your graveyard to special summon from your deck another dino whose level equals the number of monsters banished. Normally that's going to be just himself because you're trying to summon a level 1 monster. The Archosaur, but in a pinch you can also banish 2 to summon out a Baby, or 4 to summon out an Over Raptor, or Pharesia. So there's a lot of versatility in Miscellaneousaurus, definitely one of the better cards in the deck. For sure, this card's nuts, you have to play this at 3. Huge combo starter too. And then we got the Soul Eating Over Raptor. This card on summon will search your deck for a dinosaur monster, either adding it to your hand or sending it to the graveyard. You can also destroy another level 4 or lower dinosaur monster on the field to bring one back from grave. You're going to use that destruction effect to either work alongside your Lost World, like we saw in the gameplay, attempting to pop the token. We'll talk more about that combo when we get to the field spell. But you'll either use that effect in combination with Lost World, or you will simply pop a Baby to summon a Baby. It's that simple, right? If you have a Baby on field, you just pop it to summon another one. It's that simple. So Over Raptor is fucking insane. You have to play 3 of it. This card's busted. Pharesia. Pharesia then on summon grabs a Dinomorophia trap, sets it directly from deck to field. That is either your Frenzy, Domain, or Dinomorophia Brute, which we're actually playing in this list. So Pharesia sets any one of those from field. We're only running 3 combos of this card to make sure that we have enough materials for fusion with the likes of Frenzy and Domain. You don't actually need to like open this card or anything like that. You will summon it directly from deck to field thanks to your babies. So that is your ultimate objective, is to use your babies to bring out your Ovi and your Pharesia through special summoning. Then you're going to use the Pharesia, setting your trap card. Then you're going to use these 2 in an Exceed summon for your Dulka. You saw it in the gameplay. You know how the combo works. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, Phreesia is pretty fucking nuts. This takes the place of Scrap Raptor. Scrap Raptor I don't really like right now, just because of the whole like brick situation. You have to play like Chimera, you have to play all this other shit to make it actually work. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of the scrap package. I'm not a huge fan of some of the sort of bestial packages or synchro packages. I think the Phreesia, not only is it great because it's a level 4, it keeps it simple, allows you to go into a rank 4 exceed monster, but the setting of the trap card is so much value, and the fact that we're able to play these traps, which are all inherently one card combos, is just incredible, man. It really is. Diplos, I hate him, he's here for his name. Pancratops, it's a free summon if your opponent has more monsters than you, and you can quick play Tribute him to pop a card your opponent controls. Pretty fucking sick. Doggeran, a searchable kaiju in the deck. I feel like having a searchable kaiju is just automatically fucking amazing because it outs the unoutable. It really does open up a lot of situations for you. Then we got the Ultimate Conductor. The Ultimate Conductor is your game winner. This guy can attack as many monsters your opponent controls once per turn. If they happen to be in defense, instead of battling them, he can just send them to the graveyard and inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. He can also destroy a dino on your, any monster, on your hand or field to flip all of your opponent's monsters face down. So Book of Moon, and he can attack everything. Well, there must be some massive cost to summoning this monster. Well, no, you can special summon him just by banishing any 2 dinosaurs from your graveyard. Not once per turn, not limited in any way. You can just summon him by banishing 2 dinos. This card is insane. You can also summon him directly from deck using our next card, the Double Evolution Pill, which allows you to banish a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur from your hand or graveyard to special summon a dino from deck. That's either going to be your Pancratops or your Ultimate Conductor. You're getting easy access to this card through your Archosaur as well, meaning you will always have access to it. That's why we're playing 2 copies, to make sure we can always resolve this guy's effect, and to make sure we're seeing this card as often as we possibly can. Triple Fossil Dig grabs any level 6 or lower dino from deck to hand, not once per turn, no cost, no nothing. One of the best search cards in the deck. You're an idiot if you're not playing it at 3. Double Lost World. Lost World opens up a lot of 2-card combo potential. You can play this card at 3. I'm sort of tempted to play it at 3. It is really, really good. Basically, if you summon a dino while this card's on the field, you get to summon a Jureg token to your opponent's field. So long as that Jureg token is on the field, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with card effects other than the token, which just immediately nullifies a whole shitload of negation and removal and things. So Lost World's automatically really good for that purpose alone. But the Jureg token, you can also protect any normal monster on the field from destruction by destroying a dino in your deck instead. So the idea of that is you're able to use the Over Raptor to attempt to destroy the Jureg token you give your opponent. Using the field spell, you then protect that token, and you will instead destroy a Baby Ceratosaurus in your deck instead. Baby Ceratosaurus will then summon another Baby Ceratosaurus, and then you've got fucking combos for days. So Lost World is definitely one of your 2-card combo pieces. It's good beside Fossil Dig and beside Over Raptor. It's not that great next to most of your other monsters unless you're going second. If you're going second, you can simply try to destroy the Jureg token by battle to trigger its effect, which is good. But going first, or if you're in a position where you can't just attack the token, Lost World is only really good alongside Fossil Dig and Over Raptor, which is why we're only playing it at 2. It's not that great in all circumstances, but it's just such a powerful card, man. You can't not play it. We got Call By, Cross Out. Of course, I didn't mention the fact we're playing Triple Maxi and Triple Ash, but you know the fucking vibes. And then lastly, of course, our Dinomorophia package. We got Domain, Frenzy, and Brute. Domain and Frenzy we talked about 2 videos ago, are our last video, are fusion trap cards. These guys will fusion summon using monsters. Domain will do it from hand in deck. Frenzy will use 1 from deck and 1 from extra deck, and you will fusion summon out your fusion monsters, basically. Brute is the only one that we are playing now that we weren't playing before. Basically allows you to pop a Dinomorphia monster you control in any card your opponent controls. You've usually got like a leftover Kentragina, maybe you even have a leftover Phreesia on the board after like maybe normal summoning it if you're hoping to bad hand. There's a lot of situations in which Brute is very useful, and there's not a lot of situations in which it's dead, and that's the big thing that sort of determines whether or not I use these cards. How often am I going to have this card in my hand and it not be usable? So because of the consistency of our combos and the consistency with which you can get access to Phreesia, it's almost never going to be dead, because if you have it in your hand, all I need to do is get access to Pharesia, which I can do super fucking easily, and it's not dead anymore. Not only is it not dead, it's better than it ever would have been, because I can use the Pharesia on the board as pop material. And then I can copy its effect from Graveyard using Kentragina to give me another pop, which is like double pop, which is insane. So it's almost better to just see in your opening hand and then get access to Pharesia later. But if you, for example, already have Frenzy in hand, well then it's the perfect target to set from deck off of Pharesia's summon. I don't know, there's a lot of circumstances in which you want to use it. There's not a ton of circumstances in which it's dead. It's only ever dead if you get hit with like 2 hand traps. 2 or more hand traps makes life very difficult to go in the full combo, and therefore you might not have access to your fusion monsters. And if that happens, well, what are you gonna do, right? And that's Dinos for you. So you don't have to play this card if you really want to. If you want to like go from like 1 brick to 0 bricks, then you can cut this card. But it's not really a brick. It's not. I think this card's phenomenal. Getting into the extra deck, we got 2 Kentragina, 2 Stealth Bird, and 2 Rexsturm. This one's just like Diplos. It's here for its name. We got Kentragina, which can basically pay half your life points to copy the effect of a normal trap in the graveyard by banishing it to apply its effect again. So you're going to use that to fusion summon again into your Rexsturm, or if you already have Domain and Frenzy, if you've got an extra spicy hand, you can instead use its effect to copy something like a Dinomorophia Brute from your grave. But either way, 99% of the time you're just using its effect to copy a Domain or a Frenzy on the turn in which it's summoned. The Brute play is more of a follow-up, sort of turn 3, turn 4, whatever type play. Kentragina, either way, copying normal traps is insane. And Rexsturm then, while face up, your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters who have attack points lower than, higher than your life points, apologies. So it sort of floodgates the board, stops it from using big monsters' effects. You will be at 1,000 or 2,000 life points in most circumstances, so Rexsturm's effect will shut down the majority of the metagame. And if it wasn't enough, surely then it can use its other effect to pay half of your life points, to change the attack points of all monsters your opponent currently controls to match your life points. So usually that's used in the battle phase to protect you from just like dying. But in other circumstances, it can be used to prevent the activation of problematic monsters because their attack points now become equal to or higher than your life points, meaning they cannot activate their effects. So Rexsturm's just fucking awesome. And again, the biggest weakness of like the Dinomorphia combo and Dinomorphia cards is hand traps, is Ash Blossom, is all of these cards. Well, not anymore, because we've got the Evolsaurs, we've got Dulka, which is a non-once per turn monster negate, and we have Logia, which has a spell or trap negate built in as well. So we've got the spell trap negate. You don't often use Logia. If you didn't have this card and you really needed to save UR materials, you could cut it. It's a good card though. I would play it. Logia is really good. Dulka though is the fucking MVP. You have to craft Dulka. You have to. Those are the rules. I don't make the rules. Those are just the rules. A non-once per turn monster negate is just insane. It helps protect you from Ash Blossom, helps protect you from Nib going second, helps protect you from even just general like monster effect activations, right? Even Veiler for hand traps. It does a lot, right? The Dulka just does a lot. Linkuriboh and Secure Gardener are here exclusively to make sure your double evolution pill is usable as often as possible. If you have your Archosaur on board, you turn your Archosaur into Linkuriboh into Secure Gardener. Now you've got Linkuriboh and Archosaur Engrave. Perfect banish targets for the double evolution pill. So these two are more of a toolbox choice. I don't do anything. And lastly, it's just generic monsters. We have Masquerena for quick play Link in the Unicorn, Elf to bring back babies from grave and provide targeting protection to your Dinomorphias, Unicorn to spin, access to code to wipe the board, Underworld Goddess because it's just a good generic card. And there you have it. There's the full list. So if you got this far into the video, of course, make sure you leave a like. Leave down below if you have any suggestions, questions, anything like that at all. Or you can just hop into the Discord instead where you can ask directly, get better answers. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got to talk about. If you got this far, subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.